So kind of digging more into extroverted intuition. If you think back, if you've done this activity with me, then I'll show folks this picture and say, take about 30 seconds, look at the picture and let me know what you see. And so folks with extrovert or folks with intuitive preference will immediately start to make up stories and say, oh, it's, and sort of connect possibilities and what could be. So they might say, oh, this is a ladder going up in their thoughts, or imagining going up into heaven. This is all-seeing eye. Trying to think what else in these fans from, like, they're dreaming about going on a tropical vacation where they'll have drinks with umbrellas in it, or fans, fanning themselves. So folks with introverted preferences will kind of start to create stories and make up stories when they're much more comfortable, like being divergent like that. If it's extrovert intuition is what we're talking about, then they do that at the external world and they want to bounce those ideas off of different people and verbalize them. If they have an introverted intuitive preference, then those possibilities will be going on in their head. And so that's more of a dream scenario. Comparing that with sensors, so folks with a sensing preference would look at this picture and say, pick out the details and the specifics. And so would start with like colors, maybe green on the right side, middle, blue on the far right side in the middle, black and white, curvy lines up in the top right and the top left. So they're very specific about the positionality of the information that they're collecting. They're very specific about the colors. If there are distinct shapes, they'll be specific about that. So they might even say like an almond shape, a black almond shape with a white oval vertically placed in the middle. The lower half of a woman's face from her nose down to her chin. And so folks with a sensing preference will be really specific. And so that is how they prefer to take in that information. And their starting point is going to be either those internal details. So if they have an SI preference, it'll be picking out those internal details from their present experience or from their past experience and using that as a starting point rather than the divergent possibilities. And so as we think about folks with this extroverted intuition preference, super great to be able to adapt and imagine possibilities. It's important, sort of a watch out or way to set boundaries around themselves. Important to think about where that's beneficial, to make sure they have that in their lives as an opportunity to brainstorm, to think about possibilities with other people, but also understand that everyone's preference is not that for extroverted intuition, and to understand that at times we need to start with some boundaries, we need to start with a framework, or we need to work within a framework and understand how much can we explore here. Are there certain budgetary constraints, time limit constraints, etc., that we need to be aware of, so that you can kind of balance that out within a good system. So that's extroverted intuition.